Good evening from the Channel studio in London for your international news around the world in 5. Former U.S. President Donald Trump is in the state of Wisconsin for the Republican Party National Convention, where he's expected to receive the party's formal nomination for the 2024 presidential race. Following an assassination attempt on his life at a rally in Pennsylvania on Saturday, Donald Trump says he plans to give a different kind of speech and that he had been given an opportunity to bring the country together rather than focus attacks on his rival, Joe Biden. 78-year-old Trump says he's fine after a bullet pierced the upper part of his ear. A spectator was killed in the attack, while 2 other people were seriously injured. The gunman, who also died, has been named as 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks. The Secret Service has said there will be no changes to the convention security plan, adding that they are fully prepared.
This is a national special security event. That designation is the highest level of security designation that the federal government can determine. So we are confident in these security plans that are in place for this event, and we're ready to go. It's been an 18-month process. We've worked together over that 18 months to develop operational security plans for any and all aspects of security related to this event.
Meanwhile, U.S. President Joe Biden, making a rare address from the Oval Office, has called on the country to stand together and settle political differences peacefully at the ballot box.
My fellow Americans.
In a 6.5-minute address, the U.S. president said violence should not be normalized. President Biden will return to the campaign trail on Tuesday after initially suspending campaign activities following the assassination attempt on Donald Trump.
There is no place in America for this kind of violence, or for any violence ever. Period. No exceptions. We can't allow this violence to be normalized. You know, the political record in this country has gotten very heated. It's time to cool it down.
And voters in Rwanda lined up at polling stations across the country today to elect their next president. The country's de facto leader since the end of the 1994 genocide and president since 2000, Paul Kagame, faces only 2 challenges after several prominent critics were barred from standing. The outlook mirrors that of the last election in 2017, when Paul Kagame dominated his rivals with close to 99% of the vote. With 65% of the country's population aged under 30, Kagame, who is running for a 4th term, is the only leader most Rwandans have ever known. Several people have been killed after a car bomb exploded outside a popular restaurant packed with football fans in the Somali capital, Mogadishu. The bomb went off on Sunday night at 10:28 p.m. local time as fans were watching the Euro 2024 football final between Spain and England. At least 5 people were killed in the explosion and 20 more injured. Al-Shabaab militants have claimed responsibility for the attack. Israeli forces have reportedly attacked 5 separate schools in Gaza in just 8 days, killing dozens of people sheltering in them. According to Palestinian officials, medics and rescuers, the latest attack struck a United Nations-run school in the Nuseirat refugee camp, killing at least 17 people and injuring about 80 others. Most of the victims are said to be women and children. Israeli forces continue to press ahead with aerial and ground shelling of several areas across the Strip, home to 2.3 million people, and most of whom have been displaced by the war. According to Gaza's health ministry, at least 38,660 Palestinians have been killed and over 89,000 injured since the war began on October the 7th. And finally, on a much lighter note, an England football fan who had Euro winners tattooed on his leg before the final says he will not cover it up and has no regrets. Dan Thomas received a tattoo of the tournament's cup and the words England Euro 2024 winners ahead of the final that England went on to lose 2-1 against Spain on Sunday. The 29-year-old, who spent 2.5 hours getting the tattoo, praised the team for reaching the final and says he's confident they will win the next tournament in 2028. And that's your international news around the world in 5. Now back to the Channel studios in Lagos.